Under old business, we have three things that we need to discuss. The first one, you all looked at the requests for adjustments on utility bills. The reason we're having a discussion on one of those in old business is it was tabled from last month due to the request of the property owner, and asking that the adjusted amount be reduced, and that will come up for a vote under new business. Is there any other further discussion or questions or comments on that under old business? And then obviously we were going to have discussions on how to proceed with the dump truck, but now that we have two bids on the dump truck, I think that the obvious discussion for that would be that we move into new business, open the bids, and take a vote on a decision as to how y'all want to proceed with that. Isn't that how you would do that, Jared?
Mm-hmm. Including not accepting either of the bids and then having the discussion about what to do.
Yeah, we do have that option to reject the bid. They do have that option to reject the bids. Mm-hmm. And do you want to give a little bit of an update on the ongoing lawsuit with Ms. Simpson?
Yeah, we're currently scheduled for the first stage trial next Thursday. Chuck, Jr., Scott, and Brian, you weren't subpoenaed, have been subpoenaed by Ms. Simpson's, Ms. Worley's now, her attorneys, to be there. I'm not sure if they're actually going to call. I'm sure Chuck will have to testify because I'm going to call Chuck if he doesn't. I'm not sure about the Junior and those guys, if they'll have to testify or not, but they do need to be there. But that is essentially the trial. The issue next Thursday is whether or not basically we did anything wrong by when her property got water on it, whether the town was responsible for that in any way. It's not, we'll have a, if they win on Thursday, then we will have another trial at some point months down the line to determine her actual damages, how much the town in theory would have to pay her. So that's not what's going to be decided next week. What's going to be decided next week is the initial issue, whether or not the town basically did anything wrong. Obviously, if the judge or the jury, it's going to be the judge, finds that the town didn't do anything wrong, that'll be the end of it. It all goes away. If the finding that the town did do something wrong, then we'll go to that next stage and we'll have sort of more argument between now and then. We did have a hearing yesterday. It was just the attorneys. Her attorney had filed a motion basically saying we had admitted that we had screwed up and done everything wrong and that we didn't even need a trial to establish that based on what we had submitted already, the judge could just rule in their favor. And the judge denied that as of this morning. Sent a letter saying that that motion was denied and get ready for trial next Thursday. So things are happening, substantive things are finally happening, and of course we'll let you know how things go Thursday. It's open to the public. Anyone who wants to come is more than welcome to attend. You can sit in the gallery the whole time. I'm pretty sure they're letting some folks in for COVID. If that's an issue, if anybody wants to come, let me know and I'll make sure before you make the trip up there. That would be the only issue, is how many folks are letting in the courtroom with COVID. But otherwise, that's where things stand. Nothing has come up that has surprised me or in any way made me question our position. So as of sitting here right now, things have gone pretty much as I expected, which I hope is a good sign.
So do we.
But so far so good.
Any questions of Jared on that, or any comments or anything?
How long did I get my last? Thursday.
I think we've got the morning set, so it might be from 9 to lunchtime, so a couple of, 3 or 4 hours. A lot of that depends on what they want to do.
Put me down there.
Okay.
And I would encourage anybody on council that could or would to come, just to show that we're united in this decision to move forward.
Won't they bring a pocket full of rocks?
Slingshot.
Richard,
What's the
you
date
go.
on, what's the date on that?
7th.
The 7th?
It's at 9, right?
I believe so.
Yeah.
9.
That's what my paper said anyway, so. Leave your cell phone in the car and leave your pocket knife in the car.
Yeah, no guns.
Oh, come on.
I know, I hate that, I have to leave every,
Is there any other old business that we need to discuss tonight that I haven't covered?
I have a question. I don't know if, I guess it's old business. When we didn't have the Christmas party last year, we talked about doing a picnic or something.
And with the virus like it is,
Yeah.
we've just kind of been kicking that can down the road, to be
Okay.
honest with you.
I didn't know if Parks and Recs had met anymore to talk about it either.
Have not, we've just kind of been waiting for things to clear up and, see where we can go with that.
Yeah.
And, you know, I guess maybe we probably need to revisit that situation and come up with a plan, if there is a plan or what have you for this year. I'm assuming that, and this probably isn't old business, but I'm assuming that nothing needs to be addressed since Halloween is on a Sunday this year. We're just gonna let it, y'all are just gonna let it roll on Sunday like we have in the past, or do you feel like you need to make a change on that, or?
I don't think so.
In the past, when it's come up, it's just meant Halloween's been on the day of the 31st, so.
Right.
Okay. Any other questions or old business to discuss? Comments? Moving into new business, we'll go ahead and handle the extensions and adjustments first. We'll do these separately. We have 2 for tonight. The first one is the tabled a request for adjustment from last month. And when Wendy did this and averaged it out over the 6 months, divided it out, the adjustment would have come out to $64.78. The resident actually asked that that be reconsidered and that they only be charged what it cost for treatment of the 400, or be reimbursed what it cost for the treatment of the 400 gallons that actually went over, which reduced that amount to $10.65. And that is the amount of the adjustment that they have requested on their sewer portion of the bill.
I'll make a motion that we use that figure and go ahead and give them the adjustment.
Motion's been made by Vice Mayor Councilperson Richard Erskine to approve the requested adjustment of $10.65. Do I have a second on that?
One second.
Seconded by Councilperson Pryor. Ms. Pryor?
Yes.
Ms. Nicely?
Yes.
Mr. Mays?
Yes.
Mr. Erskine?
Yes.
Okay. The second request for an adjustment tonight is in the amount of $99.44. The note here says that there was a leak in the tank on the commode, the flapper was bad, it ran for several days, but it's now fixed. You've all looked at this. Technically, I think that since this leak was in the commode in the house, the water did go into the sewer. And since this is a request for a adjustment on the sewer portion of the bill, it's going to be up to y'all to decide whether to proceed with this or not. But I think the ordinance clearly states that if the water does not go into the sewer system, they're eligible for a reduction or an adjustment.
That certainly has been the intent.
Yeah. So any discussion?
I don't see where we can give them an adjustment because it did go to the sewer.
Yep.
So are you making a motion to deny the adjustment?
I'll make that motion, yeah.
Motion's been made by Councilperson Vice Mayor Richard Erskine to deny the requested adjustment. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Councilperson Nicely. Ms. Pryor?
Yes.
Ms. Nicely,
Yes.
Mr. Mays,
Yes.
Mr. Erskine.
Yes.
Certainly want to try to help anybody we can, when we can, but it obviously was inside of the house, so that's just where we are with that. So. Then the other order of new business that we amended the agenda for is opening of the bids and discussion on the possible sale of the dump truck. We received 2 bids, one of them earlier this week and one of them as of today. And I will open those in the order that we received them. Maybe. Isaac Johnson bid $1,501 for the 1978 Ford dump truck in an as-is condition. Zachary Johnson, 92821, and it has his phone number on here. Bid for dump truck, $2,500, Mike Seibel, and that's Seibel Heavy Equipment, and his phone number is on here. Those are the 2 bids that are presented for the possible purchase of the dump truck that we had previously listed for sale with a reserve of $6,500 on, which is what we paid for the dump truck, what, 3 years ago, 4 years ago?
About 3 years ago.
Something of that nature. So the discussion is open for comments from council.
I would like to see them a little bit higher.
I don't see either one of them. They're not considering what that truck is and what all equipment's on it. Even 2,500 is not in the range that it should be.
So you willing to make a motion?
I'll make a motion that we don't accept those 2 bids. I have a suggestion. We put it up here on the road with a sign in it and try to get some interest that way rather than going through the bid process again.
So is your motion, and I'm not trying to make your motion for you, but I just need for you to clarify what your motion is.
First part of the motion is not to accept these 2 bids.
That's what we're dealing with right now.
Yeah, that's what we're dealing with right now.
The Vice Mayor, Councilperson Richard Erskine has made a motion not to accept the 2 bids as presented for the dump truck. Is there a second?
A second.
Seconded by Councilperson Pryor. We'll do a roll call vote as we have been. Ms. Pryor?
Yes.
Ms. Nicely?
Yes.
Mr. Mays?
Yes.
Mr. Erskine?
Yes.
Wendy, will you notify both of these bidders that council has decided not to accept their bids?
Yes, sir.
Now, Richard, I think you would like to have some discussion on how we are advertising the dump
I
truck.
think we need to go another route. And try to get those bids higher because that vehicle is worth a whole lot more than $2,500. The bid offer is worth that.
So are you proposing, we can always put a for sale sign in, set it up by the road and do that and see if we generate any interest that way. Is that what you're proposing, or?
Yes.
Okay. Any other suggestions on what we need to do to try to get the bids up a little bit higher?
is this something to where like we can, like, say if I wanted to go on Facebook and put a picture of it?
Sure.
And the information and then share, get people to share it?
Sure.
Yeah, does Craigslist charge you? I don't know how that works.
There's also that other website,
Oh,
like for, like government, the government side.
GovDeals.com, that's an auction.
Oh, okay.
You know, you would put a reserve on that. I've actually listed some things on GovDeals before, so if you wanna authorize me to do that and put a reserve on it, I'll be happy to do that. So, I would need a motion to do that and what your reserve would be.
That Allegheny yard sale page may be another option too.
Yeah, I was
Not that I
getting,
have a dog in this fight.
no, you got one up on me there, because I was gonna suggest that, there's about I know about three yard sale pages keep popping up on my
Yes.
Facebook. And, I'd cross, like you said, take a picture of it and list it on all three pages.
That way we don't have to keep running ads and charging us more money,
Right.
but we get the word out there.
You can make a motion for GovDeals and give me a reserve.
Chuck, can you may not want to answer, I'm gonna ask you the question anyway. What is the big deal that they don't want to use?
Well,
Can you answer that?
I can, and it goes back to as soon as we bought the truck. The complaint has been that the truck is too big, they don't have a piece of equipment to comfortably load the truck. Nobody here except Jerry is comfortable driving it now. That has been the discussion about the truck ever since we bought it. I mean, even to the point that they had discussions with some folks like cutting part of the side of the bed away, which we were totally against that because you destroy the integrity of the body of the truck, that type thing. So from the time it was bought, it's been an ongoing kind of a struggle, if you will, with the comfort level of using the truck, because it comes directly from Public Works, that the truck is too big for what they need it to be for. And, that was a concern as discussed actually before the truck was bought. We were assured at the time that it was not going to be an issue, that we could work around it, and with the equipment we had, it would be fine. You remember that discussion. So it's been a vehicle that while I thought it was a good purchase, and obviously council thought it was a good purchase and voted unanimously to purchase it. I think you were on council at that time. It's been an ongoing battle, if you will, with Public Works to use the truck and the equipment, and basically they've asked that we sell it and possibly look in the future at getting something smaller for them.
But that truck's no bigger than the trash truck.
But
The trash truck's actually bigger.
they talked about their inability to load it with the tractor they have.
Now you know better than that.
Well, like I said, it goes back to day one,
Yeah.
so.
But all they gotta do is tilt the bed a little bit where the tractor can dump, load it up so much, let it down, let it settle load. If it'll settle load, if it don't, carry half a load. You ain't gotta pile it up. I mean, it's ridiculous.
And Randy, they've had a problem with that split rear end. They've actually, Chuck didn't.
I didn't.
They had it parked and said it wouldn't move.
Yeah, well, I looked at that too, yeah.
Well, and Chuck got in it and drove it off.
But, I mean, that's just
But that just,
a matter of getting trained on it. Something new, you gotta work with it. But as long as it's set down there, it drives, you're not gonna use it.
Right.
I mean,
And that is another option. I mean, the only thing we've been discussing is a motion to further advertise and try to move the truck. The other option would be for council to make a motion to keep the truck and use it as it is and move forward with that. So the ball is in the court of council.
well, see, right now, I mean, it's not well now, but the thing with the building, of course, they're hauling it for free, but maybe we didn't get none the last time. That, well, we'll come and get it if you let us have it. And you, I mean, that's a good way to, but I
So
Okay.
it's y'all's pleasure, will and pleasure.
Didn't we talk about this last year and we pretty much told them that they were gonna have to use it and they just
And they haven't
don't
been
want
using
to, so.
Now, the other thing you can do, I mean, you can just say, it's there, you gotta use it, and they're gonna do everything that they can and continue to use the dump trailer. And I'm not bad-mouthing our public works
Right.
crew. Our public works crew does a tremendous job with what they have to work with, and no more manpower that they have. Then, I mean, this town is very fortunate to have the commitment level that we have out of our public works people.
Right.
So I don't want this to be misconstrued by anybody that's listening or watching tonight or in attendance tonight. This is not anything negative toward our public works crew. It's just a dilemma that we need to work through with them to either have them get comfortable with the truck that we have, or instead of having it just sitting there and further depreciating, move it and possibly look at the future of getting something smaller. So. Any other questions or comments? Motion to be put on the floor.
Could Jerry possibly train the other two or other three people that we have on the crew right at this time?
I don't know how to answer that. It would have to be a discussion with them to find out what their comfort level would be.
Well, that's,
I can't sit here and speak.
yeah, that's just a question that I had. That could he actually train them to drive the vehicle?
Okay, well, I'm gonna make a motion that to authorize you to put it on the gov.com. They'll keep the reserve like it was before, 6,500. And if Wendy or you want to talk to them and ask them if they think, if somebody trains them how to use it, if they would feel more comfortable, if they decide we still have all these other areas covered.
So basically, your motion is to cover both bases.
Yep.
Continue to offer the vehicle for sale, but also pursue options to train the crew to be comfortable with it.
That's lower than 6,500.
Then it'll just be like we did tonight. We'll get it, look at it, and
Motion's been made by Councilperson Nicely to continue to offer the truck for sale, listed at the various yard sale pages and govdeals.com. On govdeals.com, since it is an auction, to list a $6,500 reserve on the truck. And in the meantime, work with the current public works staff to see if we can train them and nurture their comfort level with the use of the truck.
yeah.
Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second it.
Motion's been seconded by Councilperson Vice Mayor Richard Erskine. Any other questions, comments about the motion before I call for the vote? Ms. Pryor?
Yes.
Ms. Nicely?
Yes.
Mr. Mays?
Yes.
Mr. Erskine?
Yes.